Okay, so let's go ahead and keep building our equation solving ladder. Now that we know the golden rule, the idea is that we can do whatever we want to one side. The first equations we'll kind of revisit are what I playfully call one-step equations. The reason why I call them one-step equations is because just one golden rule needs to be done. Once you do apply, and of course it's the right golden rule. There's, we can do anything, but there's one good choice. And as soon as we make that choice, we get x by itself, and whatever number it's equal to is our solution. So one-step equations. And again, remember, you can do whatever you want. So if you're not really getting it the first go around, just keep trying, and I think you'll finally realize some of the ideas. And then one last thing before we get to work here. What you're constantly trying to do, again, the goal is to get the variable all by its lonesome. And so what we have to do is undo or reverse the action that's happening around it. So let's just get to work here first. So number one, right, when I read this, to get, what we have is some number take away 8. So to get this number by itself, I basically need to get rid of the subtraction of 8. So how do I reverse that? How do I do the inverse of that? Well, we'll add 8. I'm going to do it vertically. So I'm going to add 8 to both sides. All right, and so when I do that, right, the 8's will now cancel out, leaving us with x. Don't forget your equation. And then 12 plus 8 equals 20. And so there is basically your solution. 20 take away 8 is equal to 12. One-step equation. All right, all I needed to do was add 8. Real quick, in the last video, I did the additions and the balancing acts horizontally. Here you saw me do it vertically. I don't care how you do it or what makes sense. I just want to make sure I'm very clear on quizzes. I want to see that step. No matter if you think it's simple or not, this is the skill that we're trying to learn. So I want to see your balancing act, right? What's the golden rule that you played to get x by itself? So if you don't show me that step, I'm not going to give you full credit, all right? So keep showing me that. As you guys get more proficient, I'll start letting you drop it. But since we're learning the skill, I want to see the skill. So make sure you're showing that. Number two, what's happening here is we have a number plus 1/4, right? So how do I undo the addition of 1/4, right? Well, to undo an addition, we're going to perform a subtraction. So I'll subtract 1/4. Just to be different, I'll go ahead and do this one just so you guys can get comfortable with either way. I'll just do that horizontally. So I'm taking this side of the equation and subtracting 1/4, and I'm taking this equation and subtracting 1/4. I'm doing the golden rule, the same thing to both sides. So plus 1/4 and minus 1/4 cancels out. It goes to 0, and we're left with x. So we got x by itself. What's x equal to? Well, unfortunately for us, we have a subtraction of fractions. Again, going back to chapter 1, we found the LCD. It's 12. This fraction, we need a 4/4. And this fraction, we need a 3/3. Yes, I still want to see that step. All right. Make it very clear this is another balancing act that we play, and I want to make sure you're aware when and how to do it. So we get 4/12 minus 3/12. So now that everything matches up, 4 take away 3 gives us 1. So there's our solution. So the solution of this equation, right, the value of 1/12, if we were to plug it in here, 1/12 plus 1/4 would equal 1/3. And we've solved for x. Okay, and the one step was there. Obviously, there was much more work to do with the fractions, but there's the idea of the one step. By subtracting 1/4, we were able to get x by itself. For number 3, what's happening here is we got 5 times a number. So how do we reverse a multiplication? Well, we do a division. So I'm going to take this side and divide it by 5, and I'm going to take this side, divide it by 5. Again, there's my golden rule. And with that one step, the 5's cancel out, leaving us with x. And 30 divided by 5 gives us 6. And there's basically our solution. There's the value that when I multiply it by 5 gives me 30. So we can kind of check it out and see that it works. All right, so one-step equations. Just figure out which golden rule we want to play, and once you play it, you get x by itself. Number 4, what's happening with the x here is in language we have a number divided by 6. So how do we reverse a division? By multiplying, right? So I'm going to multiply this side by 6. If you want to write it as 6/1, you can. and I'm going to multiply that side by 6. The 6's divide out, leaving us with x, and negative 3 times 6 gives us a negative 18. And so there's our solution. Again, negative 18 divided by 6 is negative 3 as far as checking it out. Again, one step was enough, right? So we're trying to reverse a division, so I'll multiply, and that did the trick. Trying to get a little harder, number 5, I've got things kind of arranged around differently, but there's our variable we're trying to get by itself, and ultimately what we're doing is we're adding 9 to it. So how do we reverse the addition of 9? We subtract 9. I'm going to go ahead and do that vertically. So the 9's will cancel out, leaving us with x, and 5 take away 9 gives us negative 4, right? So there's our solution. And again, you can check that out. 9 plus a negative 4 equals 5. So one step did the trick. And again, I'm kind of going back and forth. You guys choose what you want to do. You can show your steps vertically like I did, number 1 and number 5, or you can do it horizontally like I did 1, 1, 2, and 3. Whatever you decide to do is your choice. I just want to make sure I see that step. So please make sure you're always showing it. Last one-step equation, we have a negative 4 times x. So how do I reverse a multiplication of negative 4? Well, I'll divide by negative 4. Right? So the negative 4's here are common factors, so they'll divide out, leaving us with x. And then what's left is we basically have a fraction. This fraction needs to be reduced. I'm going to go ahead and use, let me factor some things out. The top is 9 times 2, and the bottom is 2 times 2. So a 2 cancels out, and so we're left with x equals negative 9 halves. Again, going back to chapter 1, you could also put the negative upstairs, or you can put the negative downstairs. It doesn't matter where you put it. So kind of a review of that topic. So one-step equations. We're playing the golden rule. And in one step, right, the balancing act of doing the same thing to both sides, we're able to get x by itself and find the value that makes the situation true. All right, obviously these get much tougher, but hopefully that gives you a really good idea of how the golden rule works, what it means to reverse a situation, and how to put that golden rule in action. All right, we'll see another set of much harder equations in the next round. See you guys in that video.